Hey everyone, this is Anthony. In this video, we are going to start talking about factoring, how to do it, and we're going to take a look at some techniques. And the first technique that I always look for when factoring is a GCF. And a GCF is just the greatest common factor. All right. And let's take a look at some examples and see what that means. Yeah. Okay, so let's say we have 3x plus 9, just super simple, and then we'll build up from here. So I look at the coefficients, the constants separately from the variables. I'll take a look at each one. But first, with the coefficients, I see a 3 and I see a 9. I see that 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 9 3 times. So my GCF here is a 3. And then I'm just going to write whatever's left over. Because if you think about it, when we factor, we're dividing out terms. All right. And that's why we're going to put this parentheses here, because if we want to check our answer, we would have to multiply the 3 back in. So let's do 3x divided by 3. And we see that the 3's simplify. We're left with just x, just 1x. Let's simplify and divide what 9 divided by 3 is. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And we see we have 3 times the quantity of x plus 3. We have factored out the GCF, the greatest common factor from both terms is a 3. We divided this out from each term. And if we want to check our answer, let's multiply this back in. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times positive 3 is positive 9, and we should get the same thing as our original problem. All right, let's slightly make this a little bit more difficult. Let's say we have 4x to the third minus 16x to the second. All right, so we are just focused on taking out the GCF. The GCF, let's take a look at the coefficients. We see a 4 and we see a 16. 4 goes into 4 once. 4 goes into 16 4 times. So we're going to factor out a 4. Okay. Let's see. Now the x's, the variables. There are 3 x's here, x cubed, x times x times x. There are 2 x's here, x times x. What do they have in common? They share 2 x's. And I should have left a little bit more room here. 4x to the second. You know what? We're going to rewrite this. All right, so the 4 is the GCF of the coefficients. The x squared is what is shared amongst the variables. And if you want to check with the x to the second power, x cubed can be written out as x times x times x. X squared can be written out as x times x. And how many do they have in common? Well, they each have 2 in common with each other, which is x to the second power. All right, we're dividing 4x squared out. Let's see what that's going to be equal to. 4x cubed is the first term. We're dividing out 4x to the second. 4 over 4 simplifies to 1. X cubed divided by x squared. There were 3 x's in the numerator. We're taking away 2 x's. We're dividing away. So there's just an x left over. All right. And then let's take a look at the second term. 16x squared divided by our factor, our GCF that we factored out, 4x squared. Let's simplify. 16 divided by 4 is 4. X squared divided by x squared, anything divided by itself is 1 minus 4. There we have it. The GCF is 4x squared, and whatever's left over is the x plus 4. If you want to check your answer, you can distribute, and you'll see that we get this same exact thing. All right, we're going to do one more. Let's take a look at this. Example 3. X minus 2 times 2x plus x minus 2 times 3. All right. This looks a little bit different, but not too much. Don't be thrown off because there's multiple parentheses. But really, there's one term here separated by a plus. There's another term here. All right, yeah, we do need to simplify, and each of these individual terms will have two terms after we distribute. But as you can see here, there's one term plus one term minus one term plus one term. So it's very similar. Let's take the GCF. What do each of these terms have in common with each other? A factor of x minus 2, factor of x minus 2. The 2x and the 3 don't go into each other. So we're just going to take out an x minus 2. And let's see what's left over. Because this is a binomial, I'm going to make some brackets here. And let's rewrite whatever we have left over. Well, left over we have a 2x from this term. Left over from this term, we have a plus 3. And actually, it turns out we didn't really need the brackets. We can rewrite this with parentheses. But the x minus 2 was our GCF. The stuff left over is the 2x plus 3. And if we want to distribute again, just to check our answer, you can distribute the x minus 2, multiply it by 2x, and we'll get this. Distribute the x minus 2 with 3, and we'll get this. So I hope that this video helped into our intro into factoring. This first technique is the GCF. It's what I always do first. I always look for first, and then it makes the rest of the factoring a lot easier. So if this video helped, do go ahead and like and subscribe, share it with your friends, and I look forward to the next video where we'll get into the difference of two squares.